It's late at night and you're scrolling through real estate listings again. Not casually, deliberately. The kind of scrolling where you're hoping, almost irrationally, that one listing will suddenly make sense. But they all land in the same place, around $500,000 for anything that looks structurally safe. The kitchens look dated, the carpets are beige in the most lifeless way possible. Basements are finished just enough to be called finished, with cheap wood paneling that hasn't aged well. And yet, the listings confidently describe these homes as starter homes, as if this is where people are supposed to begin. You pause, stare at the price, and start running the numbers in your head. Your income, your savings, your monthly expenses. And no matter how many times you do the math, it never quite works. That feeling isn't confusion. It's your intuition noticing that something is fundamentally off. My name is David, and instead of optimism or motivational advice, we're going to focus on something far more useful: reality. We're going to break down what it actually takes to afford a $500,000 house in 2026. Not what a lender says you can qualify for, not what a real estate agent assures you is normal for the area, but what it takes to own that house without your entire life revolving around financial stress. Because there's a critical difference between being approved for a mortgage and being able to live comfortably once you have it. One of those keeps the system moving. The other determines whether your life improves or quietly deteriorates. Across much of the United States, $500,000 is no longer a premium price. It's the entry point. A modest home, usually around 1,200 square feet. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a yard barely large enough to justify mowing. In places like Denver, Austin, or anywhere near a major employment hub, this price is treated as completely ordinary. At the same time, the median household income in the US sits around $84,000 a year. That means the average household is being pushed toward homes that cost roughly 6 times their annual income. Historically, that ratio would have been considered dangerous. Today, it's marketed as responsible adulthood. And everywhere you look, you're told this is achievable. Mortgage brokers reassure you that you're approved. Older relatives remind you they bought a home on far less income. Social media fills in the gaps. People talk about buying homes with minimal money down, flipping properties, or figuring it out as they go. The message is subtle but constant. If others can do it, so can you. What almost no one explains is that affordability has quietly been redefined. It no longer means comfortable. It now means barely survivable. Start with the down payment. The traditional guideline is 20%. On a $500,000 home, that's $100,000 in cash. Now compare that to reality. The median American savings balance is around $8,000. That gap isn't something you close with discipline or budgeting. It's structural. Even aggressive saving doesn't bridge it easily. On an $84,000 income, saving an optimistic 10% of gross pay means putting aside about $8,400 per year. At that pace, it takes more than a decade to reach $100,000. And that's assuming home prices stop rising, which they haven't. Because of that, most buyers skip the 20% down payment and put down 5 or 10% instead. On paper, that feels like a solution. But that decision comes with a cost: private mortgage insurance. PMI adds roughly $200 to $400 to your monthly payment. And this is where many people miss the point. PMI doesn't protect you. It protects the bank. You're paying a recurring fee because you didn't already have enough capital. From the very first month, the system is charging you for being financially stretched. With a 10% down payment, you're borrowing about $450,000. At current interest rates between 6 and 7%, the monthly principal and interest payment lands close to $2,800. That's just the loan. Property taxes come next. In many areas, those range from $4,000 to $8,000 per year. Using conservative numbers, that's roughly $500 per month. Then there's homeowners insurance. Rising climate risks have driven premiums up sharply. Depending on location, you're looking at another $250 to $350 every month, whether you think about it or not. Maintenance is the expense almost everyone underestimates. Until something breaks, it doesn't feel real. A common guideline is to budget about 1% of the home's value each year for maintenance and repairs. On a $500,000 home, that's $5,000 annually, or roughly $417 per month. Add that to the mortgage, taxes, insurance, and PMI, and the picture becomes clear. The total monthly housing cost lands around $4,367, and that's in a best-case scenario where nothing goes wrong. Financial advisors often recommend keeping housing costs under 28% of gross income. To support a $4,367 monthly payment under that guideline, you'd need to earn close to $187,000 per year. Even using the more forgiving standard banks rely on, around 43% debt to income, you still need roughly $150,000 annually. Only about 10 to 20% of U.S. households earn that much, which means the majority of people simply cannot afford a $500,000 home without taking on serious financial risk, no matter how normalized it's become. So who's buying these homes? Some are dual-income households in high-paying fields. Some receive family assistance, and many are stretching themselves dangerously thin. One unexpected expense, a job loss, a medical bill, a major repair, would unravel everything. Consider a household earning $160,000 per year. After taxes and deductions, they might take home around $9,500 per month. Subtract housing costs, and they're left with just over $5,000 for everything else in life. That remaining money disappears quickly. Car payments, insurance, fuel, student loans, health premiums, groceries, utilities. What's left barely supports savings, let alone real security. These households aren't reckless. They're not living extravagantly. They're doing exactly what they were told responsible adults do. The result is constant tension. Checking account balances before spending, delaying repairs, lying awake at night hoping nothing breaks, nothing changes, nothing goes wrong. This is what being house poor actually looks like. You own a home on paper, but your life revolves around keeping it. For most people, the honest conclusion is uncomfortable but unavoidable. A $500,000 home is not affordable without sacrificing stability and peace of mind. There is no reward for buying a house that traps you financially. The real advantage comes from understanding the math, making grounded decisions, and refusing to participate in a system that treats survival as success.